Hey guys, this is Stacy from EatTheBite.com, and today I'm making this fantastic unbutton your pants creamy cheesy chicken pesto pasta. We'll cut and season some chicken, dice a little garlic, chop the onion, grate a little fresh Parmesan cheese, cook up that chicken, blister a bunch of cherry tomatoes, make a super easy cheese sauce that we'll add some pesto to, give that a mix, transfer the pasta to a large bowl, add the chicken. Now we'll add that cheesy pesto cream sauce, mix it around till it's well coated, get all that on a platter, and garnish with our blistered cherry tomatoes and fresh basil. So, let me show you how to make it. We're using boneless breast of chicken for this one, which is a pretty lean cut, but there's always a little fat around the edges. So just use a good pair of kitchen shears and trim off all that fat. Next, you'll need to cut the chicken into bite-sized pieces, and you can cut it any way you want, just to make sure the pieces are approximately the same size so they cook evenly. Once you've chopped all the chicken, we'll transfer that to a small sheet pan or plate, and then we're going to go ahead and season one side only with a little bit of salt and pepper. Then we'll set the chicken aside while we do some other prep. Got a few cloves of garlic here, and we'll need to dice that down fine. I usually slice my garlic into thin rounds first and then dice it down from there. We also need some finely diced onions, and I'm using what I have on hand. I already had some onion cut into thin strips, and I used part of another onion and cut that into strips as well. From there, just run your knife over the onions until they're diced down fine like you see here. Next, we're shredding some fresh Parmesan cheese for the sauce. I'm using fresh Parmesan, but you can also use the already shredded kind as well. You'll need to get your chicken broth ready. If you're using boxed broth, you don't need to do anything. If you're using chicken bouillon like me, heat it in hot water until it's dissolved. I've got a small pack of cherry tomatoes in a pan that will blister later. So we've got our shredded cheese, garlic, onion, pesto, and pasta. So it's time to start cooking the chicken. We need to cook that chicken on high heat for about 4 minutes or so. And on another burner, I've also got my boiling salted water that I'm adding a box of spaghetti to. Once the chicken is browned a bit on the bottom, we're going to turn that over with a spatula. And you'll need kitchen tongs here too for the pieces that didn't get flipped with the spatula. While the chicken is cooking on the other side, we're going to toss that pasta to make sure it's not sticking together. With the chicken heat on high, that heat will help cook off some of the juices that formed from the pan being a little overcrowded with the chicken. Once it's done, we'll transfer the chicken to a large bowl. And don't clean the pan. We're going to use that same pan to make our pesto cream sauce. We'll just add a little olive oil and the onions to the pan. We'll cook that for a couple of minutes until the onions are slightly translucent. I'm adding a little olive oil to the tomato pan. Hit it with a little salt, give it a toss around, and I'm going to cook those cherry tomatoes on high heat in the background. It's time to add the garlic to the onion pan, and then give it a little splash of olive oil, spread out the garlic in the middle of the pan, and then combine it with the onions and let it cook until fragrant, which should take no more than a minute. Next, we'll add the chicken broth, give that a little mix around. After a minute or two, we're going to go ahead and add our heavy cream, give that a mix as well. And this is a Teflon pan, so I'm using my plastic whisk so I don't scratch the bottom of my pan. Next, we'll add our cheese, and you don't need to do too much here. We really just need that cheese to melt and let the sauce thicken. And let's not forget about the cherry tomatoes on the back burner. We'll give those a toss and put them back on the heat. They're almost done. I did make a small slurry to help thicken our sauce, which is just flour and water mixed together. I added that to the sauce, gave it a little whisk. Our cherry tomatoes are blistered, and I'm going to leave those cooling in the background. All that's left is adding that pesto to our creamy cheese sauce and mix until it's well combined. And don't forget to give it a taste here. You can add more pesto if you like, it's up to you. Let the sauce sit a couple of minutes off the heat, and then when you're ready, add the pasta to a large bowl, add the chicken, and then all of that incredibly creamy, cheesy pesto sauce. Next, take your kitchen tongs and give that pasta a good mix until everything is well combined and coated. And now we're done. You can leave this on the counter and everyone serves themselves, or you can put it on a large platter like this. Take those blistered cherry tomatoes and garnish around the sides and top. It's optional, but if you have fresh basil on hand, you can garnish the platter with that as well. And here's our final presentation. I hope you give this one a try. It's an absolute gourmet. Thanks so much for watching, and I'm going to leave you with my live commentary of tasting this amazing chicken pesto pasta. Probably going to eat the bite right now. I don't think I can wait. I have so much to do still, so it's going to have to be a quick eat the bite. I'm going to put some chicken in there. Yeah. And I don't want a piece of chicken that's connected to another piece of chicken. I can't make that effort right now. All right, that's good. You can serve the rest of that cheese on the side. I mean, it doesn't need any more cheese. But sometimes that is the best time to add more cheese when it supposedly doesn't need any more. Okay, here we go. It is seriously everything you would want a creamy chicken and pesto pasta to be. Oh, I was totally craving carbs. Oh, that's so good. This is carbolicious. Just the right amount of pesto. But if you're like an extreme pesto lover, you could put more in. I think this works. It came to 3/4 of a cup, which was one whole container of this at 6.5 ounces. That was a 6.5 ounce container. That was the equivalent of about 3/4 of a cup total. And you see, when you watch the recipe, it's kind of like, oh, you're only putting salt and pepper on the chicken. Yeah, you don't need to do anything else. We've seasoned all of our components separately. The pasta water was seasoned with salt. I always put 2 teaspoons of salt in a big pot of water. I salt and peppered the chicken. The pesto, the cheese, that all has salt. So there's really no need for any more salt on anything else. I salted the tomatoes, which I didn't put in this bowl, but I'm just focusing on the pasta and the chicken right now. It's all my brain can handle. Oh my God. I think it's got a great sauce to pasta ratio. And you know, sometimes I like pasta barely coated, like with the orchietti and leeks and bacon pasta. And even my chicken broccoli penne is more of a coating, not a big saucy thing. This is between a coating and a big saucy thing. And I love it. I'm going to experiment too and see if I can freeze this pasta. Hopefully I'll have done that by the time I write the blog post. Because this is just too much pasta even for me to give away. It's like, I can't eat all this pasta and I can't give it all away. I'm going to try to freeze some of it. I'll let you know how that comes out. It should be fine, right? I mean, they sell frozen pasta dinners in the frozen food section. I've never had one, but, you know, it's possible, I guess, because they do that. That's not true. I have had a frozen pasta when my Nana took the frozen Stouffer's lasagna at Christmas one year and burnt it. Hilarious. I did not think I was going to eat all of that. Yet here we are. Now I'm stuffed and I have to take all those pictures. This was outstanding. And I think it's a very approachable recipe. And the result is unbelievable. This is delicious. If you've got a bunch of pasta and pesto lovers on your hands, give it a try. All right, bye.